Fire services properties might have been damaged at Menai, but they can't confirm the number of properties affected. An emergency warning has been issued as the blaze moves in a northeasterly direction towards Sandy Point, Pleasure Point and Voyager Point. Residents in those areas should take shelter immediately because it is too late to leave. An emergency warning is also in place for Alfred's Point and Barden Ridge. For the latest, our reporter David Spicer joins us now from Alfred's Point. And David, the emergency response there is in full swing. Just give us an idea of conditions there.
Well, this is one of the suburbs where that emergency warning remains in place, and I'm sure you can hear the sound of the helicopter, which is dipping down into the nearby Georges River and frequently dropping a big bucket of water onto a hot spot at the bottom of a valley here. This is a suburb where there's a whole nest of houses at the top of a ridge, and they're extremely vulnerable. The winds today have been extremely up to 60 kilometres an hour at its height, but then it dies down. But certainly the intensity at its peak is quite ferocious, and residents here have been told to stay and to guard their properties. We've seen extensive efforts by residents to prepare their properties in case there is an ember attack. Now, behind me are volunteers from the Rural Fire Service. They have had a very busy night. They left the scene here at 4 o'clock this morning. They were back on duty at 9. The emergency was lifted this morning, but then we had those very intense winds, and as a result the emergency warning was reinstated, and there's huge resources have been put in place in suburbs like this around bushland on Sydney's southern outskirts.
And David, a critical concern with the bushfire combined with those very blustery winds is ember attack, that fire may in fact have new fire spots open up there. So very, very important for people to remain vigilant.
Absolutely. We've seen from bushfires in the past that a house right next to the bush can escape the bushfire, but 1 or 2 blocks back a house can cop it. And that's why everybody here around me in this suburb has been vigilant today. They're out here on their roofs, they're hosing down their roofs, they're making sure there are no leaves in the gutters, and they're taking all necessary precautions. Certainly the resources here are extensive. We might have a look here. We can see residents and hoses in place, ready if the fire reaches up the hill. You can see lots of residents have been here all day, taking all necessary precautions, and we're hearing the rumble of the helicopter just to my left here. Sometimes it goes right overhead because there was a very nasty fire front. We arrived here around 2 o'clock, and there was a huge dark plume, like a hurricane of smoke. At the moment, this particular suburb, the fire is burning back in on itself. So it is the resources here are very intense, but they're just making sure that fire stays burning in on itself and doesn't come up the hill.
Now, David, there have been those unconfirmed reports around possible damage to property. Have there been any further updates on whether or not that's been confirmed, or at least an idea of what might be involved there?
Yes, it's in Menai, it's in the suburb of Menai, and it's also adjoining bushland. We don't know exactly the number of properties that have been affected or what sort of damage there is. There is some rural fire service properties there, but it's inaccessible at the moment to determine that. But certainly the suburb of Menai, the whole shopping centre was evacuated today, so that gives you an idea of how intense the danger was and the volume of people who are around Menai. But so we're yet to confirm exactly what property has been damaged. Certainly there's been impact on people and also wildlife. In this suburban street we had a koala cross the road and climb up a tree. So this koala was given a drink of water by local residents and is now having a very good nap at the top of the tree, and the good folk from Wires will come later on and send it home when it's safe.
When it is safe, that is the critical factor there, David, because conditions obviously still proving quite challenging. Any relief in sight for residents and emergency crews there a bit later tonight, perhaps?
Well, this wind is going to stay strong until sunset. So we've got 3 hours more of dangerous conditions. Then the wind is going to die down. Tomorrow, the Bureau of Meteorology is forecast half strength for the wind, so there's going to be some relief there. But still very dry conditions, not a drop of rain in sight, and extremely unusual to see all these people out here in yellow in Sydney in the middle of April.
It's certainly a great effort happening there. All hands on deck. Our reporter, David Spicer, bringing us up to date in Sydney South.